All right, we are live. We are ready to go with this month's industry expert webinar, and I'm really excited about our guests that we have here today, Lupe and Barb Brooks. I'm going to be talking about them here in a second, but for those of you that are on this and don't know who I am, perhaps my name is Jim Zazowski, and I'm president and founder of Z1 Career Zone, and we're a career coaching firm that really provides solutions for a lot of different individuals. Those that are perhaps they've lost their job because of COVID or any other situation, and they're struggling to get back into work, or maybe just frustrated with their job, don't like what they're doing, disengaged, and trying to figure out how do I find something that I could really enjoy and that I could really thrive in. And we're getting a lot of our clients are recent graduates, and as you can imagine, there are so many young people that graduate in college, probably the worst job market that we've had in, 50 years or so, and that are clients of ours. So anyway, so we have our latest is our on-demand program that we offer, and it is the most comprehensive career training program that exists. So think of it like going a whole semester to college, a full class, all right, specifically on career strategy, interview skills, and all of that stuff. And a nice thing about it is you can do it on your own time, in your own place, wherever you're located, and it's completely up to you and very, very affordable. So if you'd like to learn more about that, there's our website up there, z1careerzone.com, and our email address. You can always email us at info@z1careerzone.com, and we'll get right back to you, answer any questions that you have, and so forth like that. So anyway, I'm going to go to the next slide here and go over some ground rules, and then we're going to get to Barb and Lupe here in a second. Ground rules. You notice that your mic has been muted to avoid any disruptions or anything during this webinar. That's on purpose. I think we've got a couple of hundred people on board, so you have to do it that way. But it's really important. If you have a question or even a comment at all through this session, please just use the Q&A feature. I'll be getting those. We'll try to answer as many at the end as possible. Promise we'll have you out of here in an hour. We want to make sure we're sticking to that every month. And if you're not, follow us, Z1 Career Zone, on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter. We provide tools, resources, update you on our upcoming webinars and all kinds of things like that. So if you haven't done that, be sure to do that today, and we'd love to have you join us and be able to provide that information to you all. So let me, this picture, I love it. And so let me tell you a little bit about Barbara Brooks and Lupe Hirt. I met these two characters a couple of years ago. I was introduced to Barbara, and I got to tell you, I'll never forget this. I'm going down to their office, and I go to the front desk, and there's this guy there, and I said, "Oh, I'm here to see Barbara Brooks." And he looks at me, he goes, "Oh, are you in for a real treat?" and I'm telling you, I remember that. And Barb comes down, the smile as big as can be, full of energy and all this stuff. And I have been very blessed and fortunate to be able to do a couple of workshops for Barb and Lupe's team there at Second Act Women, which they're going to share with you about what the company does and all of those things. But I'll tell you what, let me give you a quick background on both of them. They're both co-founders of Second Act Women, and Barb is a marketing whiz, I guess you could say, award-winning marketer and public relations specialist. She did a lot of work in doing shopping center marketing and also business development, and then did broadcast media business development all around the world. And she is a 3-time entrepreneur now. And I've seen Barb's write-ups in the Denver Post and Lupe's write-ups there, and they're doing some fantastic work for women 40 plus, and you're going to hear about that here in a second. And then Lupe is in public relations. She is a copyright expert, short subject documentary producer, and a cultural author, and herself is a 4-time entrepreneur. And these two women have brought all their skills together to build Second Act Women, which you're going to really enjoy hearing about. Now, their topic today they're going to talk about is 5 ways to boost your personal brand. And I can tell you this, I think this is a great topic because with all the social media out there and all these ways that people could be looking at you, right? Your personal brand becomes extraordinarily important these days. So I'm really looking, Barb and Lupe, I'm looking forward to your presentation here. And one other thing before I let you guys go is I love doing this. I love going to LinkedIn and seeing what people's recommendations say about them, right? So as I do every month, if you've been on this, I pull words out of these industry expert profiles on LinkedIn because I think it tells you everything you need to hear about these people and everything you need to know about these people. So let me share with you what was shared about Barbara. Professional, amazing, welcoming, passionate, talented, innovative thinker. This one I agree with. Can-do attitude, unique, dedicated, exceptional, say the best for last, and an infectious energy. Oh. That's what people are saying about you, Barb, and I couldn't agree more. And,
wow.
Lupe, you too, man. Excellence, consistent, creative, highly professional. I love this one. Always calm, cool, and collected. Organized, sincere, and always willing to help other people. And I'll tell you, that's beautifully said by these people that have worked with them over the years and took the time to write those recommendations for them on LinkedIn. So go to LinkedIn, invite them, connect with them, go read about them and all that stuff. And you'll be glad you did. So Barb, I'm going to let you take it over from here. And
you got it.
And I think I want to make sure that you can, let me see, share your screen and all that. So I'm going to make you a host. Okay. That could be dangerous, but I'm going to go ahead and do that and let you take it away.
Well, I was able to do it there you go.
There we go.
Awesome.
Well, listen, we are so excited and my goodness. Wow. I haven't had a chance to read some of those. And I know Lupe's was absolutely to a T. She's my work wife. This is our second company together. The other day I even called her my sister wife. That was kind of creepy.
Like, no, not the right term, Barb.
We just want to thank you guys so much for joining us. And we love what Jim is doing. And yes, we met several years back. And Jim himself is just a tremendous human being. And what he does within his company is fantastic. And we couldn't have been more happy to bring him to present to our group of women over 40 and 50, which is our niche. So today we're going to talk to you about 5 easy ways to boost your brand. And for those of you that are thinking, well, am I really a brand? I'm not Nike. I'm not Coca-Cola. I'm not LeBron James, for goodness sakes. Well, guess what? You are a brand. And so we're going to talk a little bit about that. We're going to give you tips on how it is you can amp up your brand. And we hope that you're going to have a few light bulb moments where, as Oprah likes to call it, aha moments, where you think to yourself, okay, I get it. I am a brand. I can do this. I can jump on to my next swivel careers, as we like to say, or whatever it may be that you're looking forward to doing at this point on. So today's takeaways, you're going to walk away, guys, with it's all about mindset. We're going to teach you a little bit about that. We're going to teach you about getting your career vision in line. And brand you, that is you. I'm a brand, Jim's a brand, Lupe's a brand, you are a brand, as we said. You're going to craft your own brand statement, your own elevator pitch. And lastly, we're going to give you tips on creating your own brand style guide. So we want you to picture this. Read this, take a minute, read it, and we want you to chat us up if this is you. Oh, let me move my clock. Oh. We'll just do it this way. So, right, when you read this, you think, okay. I get why bragging at work is okay, or talking about my kudos are okay. It's all in delivery, guys. It's not about being a quiet leader any longer, not today. And so the reason why personal branding is so valuable to who you are and who we are, no matter if you're an entrepreneur or a career person, it's your way of establishing thought leadership, consistency, and reinforcing who you are, your brand assets, what you bring to the table, what you stand for in business and now in life, because as Jim said, they have access to your Facebook, to your Twitter, everything is out there. So how are you showing up? So everything you do, whether it's strengthening who you are and who you are perceived to be and who you really are, or some of the things you may have done or could have done, or let's just say the younger folks may have diluted, yikes, because of how, Facebook, it's kind of crazy, what some of these folks are doing on TikTok. But, it could take your brand, it can level you up or downgrade who your brand is, depending on your content. So with that said, we want you to get ready to learn ways to boost who you are, boost your image at work, and be seen as a thought leader, even if you're the quiet little duckling in the corner, the wallflower. No, still, you have something to add to who it is you are and what you do on the job every day. And it's about building your own brand foundation. But first, we want to Jim talked a little bit about what we do. So really quickly, Second Act Women was born out of the fact that Lupe and I could not go back to corporate America. I was 51. I could not find my way back into corporate America. And I was a success in corporate, but I couldn't even land interviews. And when I did, I couldn't even land the second. So we decided to create this company. We are a media company that is strictly focused on driving businesswomen, as it says here, in entrepreneurship and in their careers to help them grow, advance them, spur their development so that they are not experiencing ageist bias. It's going to happen, sadly. So what we do is we provide the content to level them up and deal with it head on. So we do that by providing workshops, boot camps, conferences, all the things that you see below. And speaking to companies is another part of what we do as well, so that we can re-script ageism and what it is to be a 54-year-old today. Hello, 54 is the new 54, people. I'm not thirsting to be 34 again. While it was fun, I'm having just as much fun at 54. So that's a little bit about me. And then Lupe, tell them a little bit about you.
Yeah, well, I mean, Jim did such a great job. But so as he mentioned, my background is predominantly in public relations. I was on the agency side for 20 years and then moved out and did my own gig, which I still do now, copywriting. But since then I moved in, became a full-time entrepreneur. So unlike Barb, I was never in corporate America. I tried to get into corporate America. They didn't want me. So I decided, you know what, I'm going to keep on my entrepreneurial route and I'm going to co-found Second Act Women with Barb, which, quite honestly has been a blessing because it has allowed us to really head on address a lot of the ageist bias that has been sadly, roaming for years, for decades, actually, under the radar. And through our work, we are really helping to get women to confront it, rally, and hopefully change mindsets out there, because age is more than just a number.
It is. And you know what, really quickly, we would love for you to be bold and tell us your chapter number. That's what we call it. What is the number, the level number you are sitting at right now on February 3rd? Chat us up. I admitted I'm 54. Lupe is 47. Jim?
Yes.
Jim?
Oh, Jim's on mute.
Oh.
Yeah, I am 61 years young.
Yeah. Oh, we're representing all decades here.
Grandpa.
That's
We
awesome.
love it. Lupe, take this one.
Yeah, so on that mindset, so let's take step number one, shall we? So Whether you are in a company of 5 or in a company of 3,000, the fact is that you play an important role in the success of your company. And in other words, you're an asset. And so when you think into a growth mindset, people believe that their most basic abilities can be developed through dedication and hard work. Brains and talent, that's just the beginning. But the reality is that many of us really linger in this, sadly, in this fixed mindset, which is on this slide here. So maybe you've ever said to yourself, hey, you know what? I'm just here collecting a paycheck. Or perhaps maybe even in these uncertain times, you've maybe said, you know what? I'm not going to say anything, even though I don't agree, because I don't want to rock the boat. I don't want to lose my job. Well, let me clue you in that at this point, even though that those may be some realities that we are facing, a fixed mindset does not serve you, and nor does it serve the company. It actually detracts from your abilities, from your capabilities, and what you could potentially be bringing to your table. So what does that really mean? It means that you yourself, when you choose to safeguard, retreat, perhaps maybe not speak up or share, you're actually limiting your opportunities to contribute to your career and to your company. And if you were the boss, at what point in time would you say, hey, you know what? Sally here is continuously maybe pushing the envelope, bringing you things, helping me see things differently. Where I have, Sam here who chooses just to kind of show up, clock in. Yes, there are some times when we need to do that, but in the end, companies want employees who are not just vested in their own growth, but also in the growth of the company. And that really is the game changer. When you can recognize that, hey, you know what? I'm operating in a fixed mindset. What can I do to actually change this? So let's go on to the next slide, Barb. That's where the growth mindset really kicks in. And if it is really something that you have to actively choose to want to be in this mindset. It's really easy for us to go into autopilot mode, as many of us oftentimes do in life as in work, and just say, you know what, I'm going to show up, I'm going to do my thing, bare minimum, and then I'm going to check out and go home. But this is really where your brand shines. It's your opportunity to operate and show how truly awesome you are. Everybody has skills, talents to bring that only you can bring to the table. And when you choose to step into this mindset, beautiful things can happen. It really truly allows for you to naturally get noticed. Maybe that opens up doors that otherwise would not have opened if you maybe speak up at that meeting, take on new opportunities. It builds credibility because it shows that you are not just here, but you're present. There's a difference to that. It also creates opportunities for recognition and prestige because those that speak up are confident in their voice and know, and their leaders see and recognize that those people are the ones that are the go-getters, the ones that are out there wanting to make the change and showing up. And hey, if it's a silver lining, it's even an opportunity to boost your bottom line with hopefully a little pay raise in the process. So there's so many intrinsic benefits when you choose to actually look at life and look at your career from a growth mindset versus a fixed mindset. But as I mentioned, this is an active choice. You need to choose this every single day that you show up to work. So how do you get that done? Let's dive into step number 2 and help you start choosing you.
Let's talk about your career vision. Yes, a career vision. When was the last time you actually sat down and clearly decided what your career was going to look like and be, and what you wanted to do, whether it's now or in the future, no matter your age, right? So it's about creating your career vision. So let's define it. And we do have worksheets for you. So this is going to help you tremendously. So stick around to the very end. But where are you today? Chat us up. Where are you right now in your career or in entrepreneurship, Sandy? Let us know. Chat us up and let us know how you feel right now, or how does your career look when you find that thing you want to do when you grow up again? Type into the chat and let us know. What are the wants and desires and needs? Have you ever thought about creating a career marketing plan? We have to create plans all the time in corporate America anyway, and as an entrepreneur. Why not create your own career vision, your own career plan, and how you're going to get there, which then includes your goals and the initiatives that you're going to take to get and secure that job? Because I'm here to tell you she's here to tell you, and Jim's here to tell you as a recruiter, there are jobs out there for us, Gen Xers and boomers. And those of you like Joshua, who turns 40 next week, there are jobs out there for us. I'm not saying at all that they're easy to secure these days, but things like with what we're teaching you today will help you cross over that bridge a lot faster, because it's just a matter of showing confidence and having that clear vision, and then demonstrating those brand assets, which we're going to talk about here in a moment. So let's talk about setting those smarter goals. Yeah, you've probably heard of SMART goals. We get it. Maybe you've never even heard of SMART goals. All right, I get that too. I didn't learn about them until 10 years ago. So here's what they are, and the reason why, for those of you that have heard of SMART goals, we added the E and the R. Look over to the left and you're going to see exactly what they mean. You need to write out that career vision that's specific, it's measurable, meaning you are going to do the work and land the job within 3 months from today. You're going to set that goal and work backwards with attaining that job. Make sure that it's relevant to your vision, because you're going to succeed and do so much better when you're in that career or that job that you have set your sights on. It's about being time bound. Again, you've got to say, all right, I'm going to have that. I'm going to send out, measurement is I'm going to send 5 resumes a day. I'm going to connect with so many recruiters on LinkedIn a week. And then by that date, the time bound really comes in with that March date that you're setting for yourself. And then lastly, we add the E and the R, because you have to execute. You have to work it. You hear it time and time again. Finding a job is a job on its own, but it can and will happen. And then guess what? You got to reward yourself when you land that job or you've launched that company like Sandy. Reward yourself for your hard work. Give yourself a new outfit. Yeah, I can't wear it too many places right now, but you will when it's all said and done. So the next are career assets. Lupe.
Yeah. So step number 3. So you've identified your smarter goals. You've got your game plan. Now it's really time to take inventory of what you bring to the table. So let's identify our assets. So next page, Barb. Awesome. So here we've listed a myriad of different ways that you can take an approach to identifying really what does your brand, what do you bring to the table, as I mentioned earlier. So when we look at hard and soft skills, we're talking about transferable skills, also known as portable skills. So these are typically skills like leadership, communication, listening. Those are your soft skills. Those are typically skills that you innately just have and continue to develop over time. Your hard skills are obviously your whether you've taken classes or you've held certain professions and you're a manager or whatever it might be. So make sure that when you're identifying those, that you're taking into account both sides of those skill sets. Soft skills companies are paying great money for people that can bring both the tangible, the hard skills, as well as the soft skills, because those are the ideal candidates to help them grow their businesses. Talents. What are those things that people naturally gravitate to you? Maybe you're a great brainstormer. Maybe you're a great researcher. You're inspiring. People always come to you for advice. Hone in on what seems to be your sweet spot and what people recognize, that people are always coming to you for. Mastery and expertise really takes a stock of what you've accomplished through your career. So we're talking professional and academic accreditations, awards, maybe certificates, degrees, anything of that sort. What is in your arsenal, or perhaps maybe in progress, that you're acquiring that adds value to your job, or even to the potential job that you might be stepping into. And as you know, your why is always so important, because those that are passionate about what they do, they're gonna move moons and mountains to make sure that they follow through on whatever it is that you put in front of them. So hone in on what you're passionate about, because if you find a job that aligns with what you're passionate about, hands down, you will be a star performer. And lastly, how seen by others. This idea of what's your reputation at work? Have you ever taken stock about how, if you were to ask someone, what do you see in me? Why do you want me on your team? What would they say? And so take a stock of that, and collectively, that will give you a good picture of what you bring to the table.
And
So-
Lupe, remind them, you know, there's something that we want to tell you really quickly that's also not on here, but we have, in speaking with recruiters with Amazon and others about transferable skills and folks not necessarily knowing what their assets and the equity they bring, they can't rattle them off. There's a large percentage of us that can't just rattle off what our assets are, that can't say what our transferable skills are off the bat. So this is a great exercise as Lupe leads us into something next, that we want you to literally put pen to paper or fingers to keyboard and get to writing what it is you bring to the table. So next up, we have personal branding. What is your brand? How are you showing up? Okay, so listen, let's talk about writing out that personal brand statement. And we're going to give you a personal brand statement to craft. But what we want to know is how are you showing up? Really, really, really. How are you showing up? Pull up a social media right now, Facebook, Twitter, Insta, whatever it is that you are heavy into, LinkedIn. What are you engaging in? What is your content saying about you? What is your specifically about your thought leadership, your blogs? Are you engaging with industry leaders? Are you sharing information with your folks that are on LinkedIn or Insta or wherever it may be? What is the imagery that's projecting? What are your covers? You know, those are the things that when you're looking at your who you are as a brand, those are the things that are either diluting who you are as a brand or greatly enhancing what you bring to the table, because it's no longer, it's gray. It's no longer business life and personal life. We know it all, sadly, and sometimes very fun. So think about that. Think about uncovering your personal brand story. And again, we're going to give you a way to do that. And then determining that elevator pitch so that next time you're on a Zoom meeting or next time we're in IRL and we're finally at an event where we could talk to people we haven't seen in a while. And so they ask you, what are you up to now? You're going to have a 15-second elevator pitch that you're going to memorize. So it'll be real, but it's about your brand story. And I'm giving you an example here on the left-hand side of when I'm talking about your headers and brand auditing on LinkedIn. Make sure that that first line underneath your name says what you do or who you do it for, or both, as I did here and Lupe has done as well. So that when they see that little piece of information, when you're on LinkedIn talking to folks, they can see at least a little bit about what you do, immediately have an idea of what you do. So let's make sure that you tighten up your imagery, your content, and all of those things when it comes to auditing your brand. And Lupe's going to walk you through a little exercise. Whee!
All right, so I feel like we're in school. How many of you guys completed the assignment is the question now. You know what, we had asked you to bring 3 words that your work colleagues would use to describe you. What's your brand? Hopefully some of you brought those. If you did, we'd love to see them in the chat. But the exercise is we're going to give you just a few minutes. If you did it, that's okay. You can come up with your own words right now, in essence. But what we want to know is what are those words that if someone, was to ask you, how are you perceived at work? Or if you were to ask yourself, how am I perceived at work? What would people say about that? And so we'd love for you to write down 3 words. And then below that, we're going to have you write a couple of bullets outlining what you currently do in your position to support that word, or what you could be doing to even support that word. So let's take a few minutes. Let's put the time on the clock, Barb, on that one and see what you guys come up with, because this is a short, quick exercise to get you thinking about your brand and what words resonate with you, articulate with you. There we go. 3 minutes and we're off. Chat us up when you get the chance too.
Chat us up. Doris, thank you. Lisa.
Inspiring, intuitive.
Altruistic. I love that.
Ooh, I like the deep listener. There's a difference between listening and hearing.
Yes.
Team leader and detail oriented. Great job, Robert.
Yeah, Jim, it is. It is. And those are the things that we forget to do, is to look at it on various different devices that we have.
That's awesome. I
Analytical,
love
that's good. I'm wondering what Melissa does.
Partner and communicator. Wonderful. And so once you've identified your words, make sure to write just a few bullets as to what you're currently doing to keep that association alive, that brand alive, or what you could be doing, because then that opens up opportunities for what you can be looking at to consider when you go back tomorrow to work on what you could be pursuing, new opportunities, new conversations that could benefit you in the long run. And as we keep going here, and thank you so much for those that are all sharing, these are all amazing words. Oh, I love tenacious. That's a fabulous word.
Tenacious, yeah. Tenacious D.
So in a hindsight, those are just a brief, tiny little exercise that's just really literally a jumping off point. But like what Barb was talking about, personal brand and identifying and defining it is really takes time for you to not just review where you've been, audit your socials, audit your resume. Is it up to date? Is it even reflective of what I've accomplished? Have I tracked all of my achievements to this point? And if you haven't, now is the time to do that. So for joining us today, here's a snapshot of a personal brand statement worksheet that we have created for our community that we'll be posting here into chat shortly. You can take it. It basically walks you through how to take inventory, stock, in essence, audit of where you are currently and where you want to go. And then like Barb said, it actually walks you through some questions on what you can then ask yourself to start to write up your own personal statement. And like we mentioned, the key is really to kind of review it, feel comfortable with it so that when you go to recite it, it comes off naturally. And that'll be your 15-second response when someone says, hey, so tell me a little bit about you.
All right. Number 5 is communicating brand you, not brand Nike, not brand Coca-Cola, not brand Discovery Channel. If I get one more ad about Discovery Plus, I'm telling you what. Anywho, that was my squirrel moment. So listen, it is about communicating you as a brand. It's about developing your own brand style guide, guys. Yes, we want you to take time to yourself and develop your own brand style and communication guide, because ultimately we want to know, and others want to know, how do you show up? How are you showing up? Again, taking into account your career vision now, your personal, your brand audit, your growth mindset. Think about how it is you are now, if you're not already, showing up on your digital platforms. Even if you just have one digital platform and it's LinkedIn or Facebook, whatever it is, please update it so that when someone takes a peek at who you are, they have a great idea of what you represent in life. It's about, and scrub it if you need to. No matter what side of the aisle you may be on, I would scrub your political, I would scrub, things that you may have accidentally said or supported or whatever it may be. Definitely take time to edit obviously you could tell editing and auditing is so darn important right now. We keep talking about it. So then it's about how are you engaging again on those platforms that you have chosen for yourself or your company or your business that you own. So are you educating? Are you inspiring and supporting? Okay, so are you providing tips, tricks, and hacks in that thing that you have mastered and that thing that is your asset? Are you providing inspiration, whether it's quotes or imagery or sharing something, a story that's inspiring within your industry or within your market? And then are you supporting me? Are you engaging with other people? Are you engaging with those recruiters that company you want to work for? What is it that you're doing to communicate your personal brand you. Do you have a professional headshot? Please let us know. Ping us in chat. How many of you have a professional headshot that your teen did not take?
And it can
So,
be
or your husband or your wife.
Yeah, it can be a lifestyle professional one too. Like depending on your profession, you know, it doesn't necessarily have to be a head and shoulders shot either.
An example is these 3 second act women. One is a coach, one is a brand photographer, and one is an athletic coach and health and wellness. That is their brand. That's what they're communicating through the picture. So think about your brand, graphics, your colors, your font. Think about your delivery and tone. And for that, you don't have to be so sensitive when it comes to your personal socials. Just keep things nice and be a good human on your personal socials. That's all that really means. But when we're talking about your delivery and tone on LinkedIn or any other professional platforms, what's the new one? The audio that I'm having FOMO there's a new Clubhouse. Major FOMO, but I'm not getting an iPhone. And then lastly, what story are you telling about your brand? And how you can tell it, guys, is through Canva. And in fairness, we are affiliate marketers of Canva because we use it so much, we applied, because this is how we are showing up, how our brand is showing up. And this is the tool that you can use to upgrade your own style. Now, here's a bonus. Why don't you take it a step further once you've developed all those things, your career vision, you've audited, you've created your personal brand statement. What about crafting your own storyboard, your own brand board? Not a bad idea, right? So why not go a step further once you've spent the next month or so, however long, because you're going to set a deadline. So however long it's going to take you to freshen up who you are online and offline and on Zoom and on Google and all of that, take the time to perhaps create a brand board. Lupe and I are doing that for ourselves soon. So these are just some of the ideas you can do. Oh, and the bottom one, if you do not have a professional brand shot, why not create your own brand shot list? I literally have gone to Pinterest and or people that I follow personally and have clipped out the images of them sitting at a desk and them doing this and that represents brand Barbara that I will then use in my next brand photography session. So think about that, guys. These are shortcuts that you could take to updating who you are. And so what we have here, and Lupe's going to clip it in here, is if you would like to use Canva to start working on your brand you can actually use this pro version that we have been using with all the bells and whistles for 30 free days. And I can tell you it's only $12 a month. So regardless, Lupe and I were like, yeah, $25 for the two of us. Worth it, worth the expense. Plus we can write it off in taxes. So we highly recommend you use Canva, and we do courses on Canva as well, and so many other things because we love to share our info. All right, so Lupe, it's
like Oprah, we're channeling Oprah, right? Okay, hopefully we have beat it into every single one of you that you are a brand. Do not sell yourself short at any point in time. And so with that said, let's take a highlight look at what we've walked through today. We challenge you to step in every single day into the growth mindset. Don't get stuck in fixed. Now, granted, we recognize that we can kind of go between the two. The key really lies in recognizing when you're in fixed and getting yourself unstuck. Clear career focus. Where are you going? Where am I right now? What do I need to get from point A to point Z? And take into account every single step and then create your game plan on how you're going to move yourself forward. Don't just say, I am where I am and that's it. No, you've got power behind you. You've got skills. You've got transferable skills. So do something with those. Don't sell yourself short. Own your brand assets. Once you've identified who you are as a brand, don't let anyone knock you off that pedestal. Only you can deliver what you have innately, what you've acquired through your own career, what you're continuing to add to your resume. So proudly display, communicate, and brag about what you are and what you bring to the table. Hone in on your elevator pitch. Take advantage of the personal brand worksheet that we put into the chat. Write it out, flush it out, play with it, make it your own. But at the end of the day, have one so that the next time you're asked, tell me a little bit about you, you've got the best response possible. And lastly, take advantage of our opportunity to join and use our affiliate link to get those free 30 days on Canva. Thank you to those who have acknowledged that you really like our deck. That's so awesome. It really comes down to Canva and a lot of creativity. So step into it. It's actually a lot of fun. So with that said, if you have enjoyed our presentation today, this is just a highlight of the many presentations that we share in our community, and particularly with our members. We host presentations and workshops, boot camps, conversations, and even expert panel Q&As with a wide array of experts that focus in on business, so entrepreneurship, but also career, and then also life. So if that sounds of interest, if you are a businesswoman over 40 and 50 that is looking for a pretty badass community to rely on, to connect with, to learn alongside, check us out. We're offering a special promo right now for $99 to join our community, and believe me, it will be a worthwhile investment. Our community is nearly now 6,000 strong and growing. Our insiders are just hovering under 200, and we'd love to have you in our group if you've enjoyed today's presentation.
And these are our real insiders. We use your pictures in our marketing because it's tough finding pieces of men and women over 40 and 50. Google it. You'll see. You get the Sally O'Malley's. For goodness sake. So listen, everyone, we want you to do the work. And as Oprah said, when we were all there last year in Denver, that is, and wherever you are in the US, if you saw Oprah, it's I can and I will, watch me. So we want you to do the work, and here is your homework assignment. Take that personal brand statement, get her done, memorize it, edit your socials, get that great headshot, not from your teen, and promote the hell out of yourself. Set a deadline to get it done, because otherwise it won't get done. And don't negotiate with yourself after you've set that time to get it done. So you can find us on all the socials, mostly on these 3 for now. And we just want to thank you guys so very much for having us today.
Yes.
I got it. I don't know if I've gone through a presentation with a smile on my face the entire time. And I'm just, very good, ladies. You outpunted your coverage, as they say. Outpunted the coverage, as they say in the sports world. No, this was fantastic. And I took a lot of notes, and everybody was very, very engaged. And I got some questions here. First of all, if you got any more questions, we might be able to get to them. So throw them on that.
Let's do it.
The Q&A thing, and we'll see if we get to those. But I have a few that did come in. Number one was somebody asked, how did the two of you meet? How did that all happen?
I was in corporate, and she had her own company making a lot of money, 6 figures. And I was for those of you that are in Colorado, I was director of marketing and senior marketing manager, I should say, of Park Meadows Retail Resort. And so I was there when I met her, because she was working with a client of mine, which was a client of hers. So we kept the relationship going. And when I lost my position at Park Meadows, then she and I started my company, PR and marketing firm. And I was like, I need your help.
And finally, I asked her out
together.
Said, hey, do you want to work together?
Right.
And that evolved into our first company, now our second company. And
we dated each other first, not like that, people. Because she's my work wife.
Yeah.
10 years.
Perfect pair. I mean, perfect pair. And oh, let's see. One comment says, I have known Jimmy for 35 years and have never seen him this quiet.
I love it.
I think Jay-Z has found his match.
Oh, that's too
Jim
funny.
Oliver, yeah.
We'd like to thank a few of our second act women that are here, like Joe Taylor, who works in an all-male industry, and some others. But yeah, what questions do you have, or anybody else? We're here until
No, I got a couple others. If you had a couple of, say 2 tips that you would say for women to advance their careers, what would it be?
Do you want to take that one?
Yeah. So the first one is, I think, really complements what we were talking about today, the whole idea of the growth mindset. I would say continue learning. Don't ever think that because, I am now 50 something, or I'm now 60 something, I can't continue to learn new things. And that could be farther from the truth. Actually, these recent studies have shown that as older adults, we now are using and engaging both sides of our brain. So we are continuously wanting to learn new things. So whether it's for a hobby, it doesn't always have to be professional, but the idea being is always continue to learn it. And I think the other one for me too is be your own cheerleader. I think oftentimes we have real issues. I know our generation has real issues with owning their accomplishments. Bragging seems to be like a naughty word that you don't use. At the end of the day, if you don't brag, if you don't communicate, if you don't articulate your accomplishments, it's like the whole tree, if the tree falls in the woods, does anyone hear it? Same thing when it comes to accomplishments. So be your biggest cheerleader. And there's a tasteful way to do it for sure. But at the end of the day, you got to be proud of what you're accomplishing and letting others know so that you continue to move your own needle.
And if I can add to that, because, I mentioned earlier, Lupe and I have had several sessions with recruiters, much like you, Jim, and others that are in HR. And one of them in particular with Amazon Web Services, Megan Joe, she said exactly what Lupe is saying, and adding on, the imposter syndrome is real. It is real for men and for women. So by the way, men that are here, we are not biased at all. So we're making sure that you are included, especially Gen X. You have an issue getting jobs as well. It's the same. Now, confidence, they can smell it when we are not confident in that first initial meeting, because maybe this was the first interview you've had in months, or maybe even a year or so. So you have to show up confident. And even if you've gotten turned away from so many jobs, you better do it at whatever it is. Do a little dance in the parking lot, whatever it is you need to do. Motivational quote, get in there and kill it with those assets. Get in there and kill it. And remember too, your brand walks in the door before you do. So that goes back to the brand audit.
No, that's so well said. And just to
you can smell it.
to touch on this confidence thing, and Sandy and a few others that are facilitators with us that at Z1 Career Zone are doing the on-demand classes. One thing that I tell them, I say, listen, at the end of every session, okay, if the individuals taking your class, if their confidence isn't higher than what they came in with, we have failed miserably. You have to do that, because you can go through our whole thing. At the end of the day, you can know it all. But if you don't have the confidence when you're sitting across from somebody, you will never get that job. You will never get that second interview. And it's so critically important. And you know what? Knowledge is power. Power builds confidence, right? And when you understand things and how they work, and you put the work in that you're suggesting that they do, even on these, homework assignments, right? There will be a certain percentage of people, everybody on here needs to do that. I can tell you that right now. But there'll be a small percentage that actually do that, right? But that's what builds confidence. You learn more about yourself and how to do things. So I think,
and you can Google 100% of everything. If you do not know how to do something, if you don't understand personal branding still, or want even more information on personal, Google it, and then do the work. Like Jim said, you got to set that date and execute, as in the smarter goals that we set. Yeah.
No, that's great. Let me see. I had Are there, let me ask you this. Here's a question for you. This is, third for you, fourth, business buildup, Guadalupe for you. And this is really my question to share, because there's a lot of people out here that I know are thinking about their own business or in their own business. What did you learn from those experiences? What's the main thing that you learned that you've been able to take that and incorporate it into second act women because of that experience that you went through, right? Because all of those things, again, it's learning and growing, right? It doesn't matter whether it was successful or not, you have learned so much through those experiences. And I'd love to hear you share that, with this group.
I would say for me, and she'll give you, her take on it. For me, it was the corporate structure that I had that oftentimes we don't really care about, especially as we get older. We're tired of the thumb on us, but it's the structure that eventually we had to go back to on a few things. You still need to get up in the day, but it doesn't matter when you get up, guys. Whatever your system is telling you is best to work on that. Don't pressure yourself to make yourself get up at 6 a.m. if you're not a 6 a.m. person, but you have to have structure. I think it's goal setting. It's all those things that some of it, the financial planning and, all those things that back then, kind of like when we all thought in high school or junior high, we'd never use geometry. And then you get on the job and you're like, holy crap, I get it now. It's kind of that. But then the things you don't learn are those things that you were able in corporate America to hand off to the accountant, to the accounting department, or hand off to the operations department, or hand off to HR, because now you're all of that. And at the beginning for Lupe and I, we're Googling, we're watching YouTube, we're doing everything we can to absorb all the things that we know we have to do right now until we can hire people. Because we do firmly believe if we're not an expert in something now, we are now contracting out. But we've learned, we've built, you go to our website, we built that.
Right.
We built that.
Yeah.
So it's things like that I took for granted in my first two companies, frankly.
Yeah. How about you, Lupe?
So I'm gonna totally give a shout out to Dory Class right now for a comment that she put on in the chat, because I totally 100% agree. And I think that has been my biggest, the biggest learning opportunity for me. And I think that has served me well along the way. The idea that you need to surround yourself with people that believe in you and that people that push you to make you better than where you were and where you started. For me, I can totally give a shout out right now to my work wife, because she has pushed me along the way. And I truly am the person I am today because of her support, because of her checks and balances on my own limiting beliefs about what I could do, what I couldn't do. And it often is it's a great just tool, a great support system to have someone that sees sometimes what you don't see in yourself. And for me, that's been invaluable along my entrepreneurial career.
I think that's great. And I've said this to my kids. I've said it in our program. I said there's two kinds of people out there. There's those that are going to drain the crap out of you. Okay, and we all know who they are.
I have no time anymore for that.
Right, and that comes with age.
Yes, it does.
And those that energize the heck out of you, right? Which is, people are enjoying this session. Why, Barb? Because you guys are energizing. You're infusing that into them during this presentation, and people respond to that. They appreciate that, right? And so, for what it's worth out there, if you've still got friends that are draining you, get a different friend. Now if you've got a relative, it might be a little tougher, but
I don't mean, oh my gosh, I mean from your friends, not from your significant others. No,
right.
But what I want to tell you is another thing, Jim, and those of you like Sandy and others who are entrepreneurs that are in Joe Taylor, you have to have that passion, because that's what happened to me is in 2018, when I wanted to go back, for me, it was God sent. And then was also an idea that I had for 5 years that I just said, screw it. Yeah, I said that along with the word God, sorry. But I said, I am finally going to do that idea. I'm going to hope that my ex-work wife, who I consciously uncoupled with after our second company, is going to come along and we're going to create a company. And we decided through research, because I knew what I wanted to do, but we needed a niche. And we were like, wait a minute, we are the niche. We're the ones that are having the problems, and we've literally experienced it. So you have to have 75, 80% of the passion. Otherwise, I mean, I say 100, but that's hard to beat.
Yeah.
And sometimes, let me just add a quick say. Sometimes, for those of us that recognize what our passion is, kudos to you. That's fantastic. For those of you that are still trying to figure out where you are on that spectrum, remain curious, because I think curiosity feeds into identifying what your passion is. And if you're not quite there, try things out from a curious perspective, and then start to kind of shed what identify what I like, shed what I don't like, and it will lead you down the right path. But it's at least a means to get you to a little closer to really what speaks to your heart.
Yeah. Nope, that's great. That's great. Let me see if there's anything else. I might have one more question that I was wanting to ask
this
you
is
guys
fun.
from me. This is fun.
Lupe, I got our brand flowers behind us.
I see that. I know. I don't have any orange or blue in my background.
Oh, you know what? You know what you said.
No, did you see Robert's comment? He was like, "Hey, is this your guys' backgrounds?" Or backgrounds.
Lupe, you know what you said during the presentation. I made a note of this because I think that's so important with people that are in their jobs. Okay. And you mentioned being present versus just being there.
Yep.
Can you expand on that? And the reason why I think this is really, really important, and talk about, finding what you're passionate about and all that is, and I say this 1,000 times, which blows me away, this stat: 71% of all professionals in the US are either disengaged or don't like what they're doing. 71%, right? And it's ludicrous, because it doesn't have to be that way, right? So your point about being present versus just being there, tell me what that means, what you mean by that, because I think it's very important to state that.
Did you want to take, because I didn't hear the first question, because I was answering people.
You do chat, girl. No, you know what? For what we believe that means is many of us, and this not just goes for career, but it goes in life. We live it on autopilot. Autopilot is very easy to operate from.
Yep.
You're familiar with it. It doesn't push any boundaries. It doesn't expect more than what you're already giving. It's basically that uncomfortable zone. And so when you show up and you are just showing up and not necessarily pushing on boundaries, not being truly present, taking in the opportunities, understanding, hey, I could maybe step into this project, or I see that this colleague of mine is struggling. I should maybe lend a helping hand, or here's some suggestions. Being present allows you to not just show up, but to take stock of what's going on around you and then engage. Not necessarily just observe. And so when you choose to do that, it opens up the doors for you to start new opportunities or conversations or communications that would not happen if you didn't necessarily initiate. So it's taking that proactive stance versus just simply saying, I'm just going to slide by.
Can I add to that as we close? Because I recently learned this, because as Lupe knows, I'm a workaholic. I kind of have always been since college, but it's gotten worse, as a business owner. Just ask Lupe, trust me. And so you gotta also learn how to enjoy life. And my favorite saying that I sort of created myself is live life in full color. And I myself was preaching that last year, and I wasn't. And I love color, but I personally was waking up 6-7 days a week, working in this company because it's been so passionate for me. But I have lost me. I have literally lost the hobbies and the things that I used to like to do. I couldn't even remember what I liked to do when I challenged myself. So we have to remember to also, in career and looking for your next job and in entrepreneurship, oftentimes, and it happens really, really with women over 40 and specifically Gen Xers over 50, we don't take care of ourselves. So you got to do that. I used to think that was so cliche and, and coach-like speak, but no, it's true.
Very, very important. Yeah, very important.
It's true. I'm working on a puzzle this weekend.
No, this has been fantastic. You gals are great. I was telling Elizabeth how excited I was just because your energy, man, is just contagious. And I knew I'd be fired up by the time we were done.
How
And I
many
was.
drink?
Oh gosh. So anyway, but no, thank you very much. And I got a couple other questions. I'll follow up with you guys on that. And thank you, Barb. Thank you, Lupe. And I'm just going to close this out by telling you guys that we have our next industry expert webinar is March 3rd. I believe that's the next first. It's always on the first Wednesday of every month. And we've got Taylor Freeman, who's going to be joining us. This guy, I've known Taylor for a long time, and his story about leaving corporate America to start his own business is unbelievable. It's like something you wish you would have done if you were like sick and tired of something, but you would never dream of doing it. You know, it's hilarious. It's unbelievable, and went on to be very successful. He sold that business he went into, and now he's a real estate giant with his wife. I think it's the top real estate firm in all of Atlanta, Georgia now, and they just keep going, man. They're going. He's my age, 61 years young, and he's going. So yeah, life is good. So ladies, thank you so much for all this information, and I just encourage everybody, do the homework. Do the homework. Don't leave it here. Do the homework. I'd encourage you to, for $99 for a year, man, sign up and see what it's all about. I guarantee, heck, they'll give you your money back if you're not satisfied. I'll make that commitment from them.
I love it.
You haven't had to return any money yet, so.
See,
Yes.
You can say that. I can feel very comfortable in saying that. So, ladies,
Can I just say something? These are our real backdrops. People were pinging each other in chat.
I saw that.
I converted my dining room at my home into my office, and that is her real home office.
It does look good. It does look good. It looks better than mine.
You just moved.
Hey, they're the creative ones. What can I say? All right. No, thank you, everybody. Everybody God bless you. Stay safe. Stay warm out there if you're in the north. I know there's a lot of snow out there. So, and be safe with this virus, and God bless everybody. Thank you, ladies.
Thank you, Jim.
Thank you.
All right.
Bye.
Good night, y'all.